What's going on, my fellow A-Plusers? Welcome back once again to a brand new episode. It is I, your host, as always, Adam Perez, coming through as we've got ourselves yet another Titans review for you guys today. Season 3, episode number 4, titled Blackfire. We're here to go ahead and give you a review. Decided to go ahead and do this live. I mean, I felt like originally I had already planned on doing this live, but I really didn't anticipate the idea of Titans when the season actually premiered, the idea of dropping all the episodes certainly at once, or at least the idea of 3 episodes at once. So it definitely made it easier with the first 3 episodes to just kind of pre-record them, drop them, if you will, all last week. So if you guys did miss our first 3 episode reviews of Titans, they are currently up on our main YouTube page, which we're going live here today, as well as on our main Facebook page as well, ladies and gentlemen. So I think maybe going forward for the remainder of the Titans season, I might in fact just be doing this live for you guys on Thursday nights. So certainly look forward to that going forward, ladies and gentlemen. But I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode as much as I have. Spoiler alert, if you haven't had the opportunity to check out episode number 4 of this season, I am going to be getting into the nitty-gritty of it all, breaking it down, pointing out some things that definitely jumped out to me. So just a fair warning for you guys. So this is a little bit of an after show. So hopefully you got the opportunity to check it out. Hopefully you enjoyed it certainly as much as I have. And when I go into episode 4 here, titled Blackfire, this definitely felt like a little bit more of the letting go of the gas, right? I feel like the first 3 episodes, Titans, especially with its premiere on HBO Max for the first time, really wanted to kind of punch us in the face, give us an idea of what the pacing is certainly going to be like. And now that we've had 3 sort of great cliffhanger episodes, this one felt like it was a little bit off the pedal, taking your pedal off the gas just a little bit, or taking your foot off the pedal, I should certainly say. But still an episode that I thoroughly enjoyed. The fact that we get to see Starfire kind of thrusted into the spotlight this week, I thought was relatively perfect. And getting an opportunity to see that this season is going to be focusing not only just on her particular life, but also seeing that there's a little bit of a partnership and a little bit of a tag team here with Gar, which I'm really been very thankful for. I feel like one of the complaints that I hear a lot of fans asking for is maybe more involvement from Gar himself. And it definitely feels as though that is certainly the case. So the fact that we've gotten the opportunity to go full strong on with the Red Hood storyline very early on, and then now in episode 4, a little bit of a change of pace, allowing Starfire to kind of get the shine in this episode, with the Red Hood storyline maybe taking a little bit of a backseat. I really appreciated just the changing of the direction here and letting Starfire and Gar really shine and really have this episode certainly to themselves. There is definitely some sense of humor in here. The idea that poor Gar gets to be the one that's stuck with this crazy alien that can't really control her powers or what's certainly happening to her. So I really got a chuckle out of the idea of him, of her. I think in general she's attacked him like 3 times this season already, or done something crazy from the previous episode. Her attacking him in the kitchen and then clearly attacking him once again, enough to go ahead and punch him out and throw him in the back of the trunk of a car. So I really do dig just the humor element that they kind of provide for a very dark and sort of grim aspect, if you will, the idea of this alien kind of losing control of her own abilities. But it clearly takes them to a great location here. I mean, they wind up, I believe Starfire winds up taking them to a hatch, which is parked, or their car is parked on top of the hatch, which Gar is smart enough to go ahead and realize there's a reason why your visions and your sleepwalking, if you will, has kind of taken us to this spot. And if there's anything that I've learned when it comes to watching Lost after so many years, when it comes to hatches, there's usually nothing good down there, or anything to really look forward to. But we do get the opportunity to see Gar and Starfire go down there also. And this is exactly where we get the opportunity to see that she locates Blackfire. You know, one of the questions that we had was, what are these visions? Is somebody trying to communicate with her? Is she, for a second there, I was thinking to myself, maybe she was connecting with Jason Todd for a brief period of time, but that clearly was not it. it clearly comes to find out that it is in fact Blackfire that's reaching out to Starfire and really draws her to this area. Now, I do find it interesting that based off of what happened last year, knowing that Blackfire was going to be hunting down Starfire, we clearly see that she's made her landing here on Earth. She's come to confront her sister on her own, and in the process has in fact sort of been captured and now is being kept against her will, powered down and things like that. And we do see Starfire here coming to kind of break her out, but not before we get some sort of sister and sister bonding time, if you will. And I was really pleased. Listen, Anna Diop continues to impress me as Starfire. It's been a really long time since season 1 when this character, just based off of first look in her purple outfit and her fur coat, all the fans and people out there that just shat on a Starfire before the season even began, to kind of see where Anna Diop came from season 1 all the way to season 3 has been just a breath of fresh air, if you ask me. I've been super impressed with what she certainly does in regards to bringing Starfire to life, and to be able to kind of see this sibling rivalry play out on screen. I can't remember the actress's name that played Blackfire, but I'm here for it. I really want to see what this animosity and sort of sibling rivalry after all these years truly sort of leads to, right? Clearly Blackfire's argument is the idea that, Starfire's always kind of been this princess, the sibling, if you will, or the child in the family that maybe always got pampered, always seemed to do things the right way. Parents always kind of looked up to her, and Blackfire was kind of like the redheaded stepchild, if you will, maybe always getting into fights or arguments, really kind of looked down upon. Clearly, punishment wise, her parents clearly came down on her pretty hard, and she's kind of utilizing how she was treated as a child, and maybe even the lack of her sister being there to kind of protect her. She finds herself in a position of utilizing those excuses as to maybe why she's kind of gone down the path that she's certainly gone down, and clearly not a very good one, clearly a very evil one. If you recall her from the comic books, I think even Starfire herself mentions the idea of maybe even putting their family to death, like their mom and dad. Clearly, killing countless people over her time as, I'm assuming, ruler of a Tamararian. I can never pronounce the damn name of their home planet, unfortunately. But I will say it does put her in a pretty interesting spot to have lived this sort of life. People clearly pushing against her, not really on the same page as her, even her sister kind of looking down upon her, but also understanding at the end of the day, this is my sister, right? Like, as much as we do not connect or have that connection whatsoever, I can't necessarily leave her here to just die and wither away all her years, right? Like, I believe the scientist says, like, even long before we're gone, this containment unit will continue to drain her powers, and she'll just stay there over years until she actually passes away. So pretty harsh, if you certainly ask me. But I just honestly thought it was a great sort of bringing together of the sisters. A lot of history clearly between these two, not the best when it comes to siblings, and there's clearly a ton of resentment kind of going back and forth. So, I am interested to see where this goes the remainder of the season. I don't believe Blackfire will become a member of the Titans. I am kind of curious if this relationship will escalate to an actual showdown and another fight, as we did get ourselves a brief altercation between the sisters in here. But I'm kind of curious if this is maybe part of Blackfire's overall plan. Are things going to go to shit? Are they going to continue to blame one another? Will they work things out? I'm pretty fascinated. But we got the debut of Blackfire here for the first time, and not too bad. So really enjoyed the emphasis on Starfire's story here this week. Again, not only bringing her sister together, but also including Gar in the adventure, and literally giving this man something to do for the season has made me a happy camper. And he definitely has added a great sort of sense of humor for this team up that we wind up having here. But I'm kind of curious to know what you guys have thought so far in regards to Anna Diop, her performance as Starfire, and what did you think about her getting her shine here in this week's episode? The other aspect of this episode that I definitely want to talk about is in regards to Dick Grayson and Scarecrow. I mean, Dick Grayson continues to go go rogue in here. We literally just saw sort of the breaking down of Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon's friendship or relationship in the previous episode, when unfortunately the bank heist clearly went wrong, right? Barbara Gordon put a lot of trust in Dick Grayson to go ahead and bring Red Hood in, protect the innocent lives and things like that. And it was just a debacle, right? She clearly understands getting close to you, Dick Grayson, has done nothing good for me in my life, it feels like. And they're trying to go ahead and clearly space each other out, kind of stay away from one another. But Dick Grayson is not doing himself any favors in here, still contacting Barbara Gordon, finding out where Jonathan Crane is going to be moved to because there was an attempt on his life inside of the prison or the asylum. And by the idea of Barbara Gordon giving him this information, we see Dick Grayson, again, not allowing Barbara to trust him at all by breaking Jonathan Crane out and really using this man sort of as bait to draw out Red Hood. So continues to dig his grave when it comes to Barbara, and if he did have plans on fixing their relationship, this certainly isn't the way to definitely do it. So I find it interesting that Grayson decided to go down that path. And when you think that you would try and include more Titans or get more help, I don't know if he's necessarily has made this a personal mission of his, but he's determined to certainly go ahead and either get to Jason Todd, help him break out of whatever he's certainly dealing with, or just trying to bring this man to justice at some particular point in time. So for that, it definitely has me scratching my head, but it made up for a really great moment in here, because I do love the addition of Jonathan Crane in this season. A part of me was kind of hoping maybe we would see him in sort of the Scarecrow costume or anything like that. But the fact that this season really deals with the idea of fear, whether that be you trying to overcome it or the idea of somebody implementing the concept of fear into you. I love the idea that it's Jonathan Crane kind of picking the brain of Dick Grayson a little bit, trying to explain this sociopathic mentality of Bruce Wayne and how it's certainly affected not only Jason Todd, but Dick Grayson's life. I mean, there really is an emphasis this season to really showcase just the brutal and torment that the brutality and torment that Dick Grayson and Jason Todd have had to certainly endure as children, whether that be under the tutelage of Batman himself, or really seeing how Batman has grown on Nightwing, or Robin, if you will, to kind of allow him to, I guess, how do I say this? Also considering of seeing how Dick Grayson has handled the idea and the concept of the Titans, whether that be from the first iteration or this new team that he's kind of put together, maybe utilizing children as weapons, right? Kind of using the ways that Bruce Wayne has kind of taught him to maybe bring up some of these teenagers. And I love the fact that Jonathan Crane brings it up, because, I'm also watching season 2 of Titans all over again with the girlfriend in order to kind of play catch up a little bit. And one of the things, we just watched the Bruce Wayne episode in here. Was it the Bruce Wayne episode? It might have been the Jericho episode. I can't recall, but it's the one where Jason Todd is contemplating committing suicide, and it's not until Dick Grayson meets him up on the ledge and lets him know about his particular secret, right? I mean, that episode specifically jumps out to me because even though I've given Jason Todd a hard time about, oh, this guy just leaves his team because his girlfriend broke his heart, and she was doing something else behind his back in a sense, and he no longer trusted him. When you look at just the season in general, and Jason Todd experiencing a near-death experience, clearly traumatized from that moment. All he sees certainly is him falling to his death. And then you've got the betrayal of his team. You wind up getting the entire Titans team, it feels like, blaming him for shit that he hasn't even done, while the guy's still dealing with the traumatic experience of a near-death experience. That's a lot of shit to be putting on a teenager, or to be blaming him and things like that. So it really doesn't surprise me. Granted, I'm sure Jason Todd had some help, whether that be from the fear serum or whatever the case may be, to get him to where he's at. But that's a great sort of first steps to get this man to push him to the point to where he's at right now. And a lot of that blame definitely does have to go on to the Titans along with Dick Grayson. Not all of it, because it clearly is how Bruce Wayne treated him, the decision that Jason Todd's made for himself in regards to either going and approaching Jonathan Crane for that help, if you will. So there's definitely a lot of blame to certainly go around, but I understand some of the things that certainly have pushed Jason towards that point. And I love the fact that it's somebody like a Jonathan Crane who kind of solidifies that sort of train of thought. And that's one of the things that we kind of talked about in the previous episode was like, I don't think Jason Todd's clearly working by himself. Like, he definitely doesn't seem that smart to be doing it. He's got to be working with somebody. And we assume that it was probably Jonathan Crane. So I am glad to see that partnership has actually come to fruition, and Dick Grayson kind of caught on to that also. But great fight sequence that we wind up getting in here once again between Nightwing and Red Hood. I've said this before. If you're going to give me a Red Hood versus Nightwing battle one-on-one, Nightwing's going to whip that ass each and every time. And he certainly did that. He did that when they met each other inside of the factory, where he broke his mask in half, and he beat that ass here in the woods also in this episode. And unfortunately, if it wasn't for Barbara Gordon interfering with the sniper and the helicopter to go ahead and try and shoot Red Hood, but accidentally shooting Nightwing, I'm pretty sure he probably would have brought Jason Todd in immediately. So it almost feels like everybody's kind of stepping on their toes, right? Like, Nightwing messed up what Barbara Gordon had planned in regards to the heist because he got swerved on, and Barbara Gordon kind of messed up what Nightwing was certainly trying to do. So I am kind of curious if next week's episode, if we're going to see Barbara heads once again and having another argument in regards to getting in each other's way or something like that. I have absolutely no idea, but I thought it was a great fight overall, and unfortunately, Jason does escape once again. So, yeah, Dick Grayson continues to screw everything over for the GCPD as Jason Todd and Jonathan Crane are now in the win. Good job. Good job, Dick. Love what you did there, man. Outside of that, I will say this. One of the things that kind of surprised me in this episode, and maybe it shouldn't, but there is a little bit of a surprise aspect to see Dawn departing in the beginning of this episode. Now, I get the idea of wanting to kind of get out before you keep kind of going down that dark path, right? Because for me, like, I'm just surprised that she didn't want to stay around to avenge the death of Hank based off of what Jason did, unless she just doesn't trust herself anymore. I mean, we kind of saw this concept play itself out in season 2, Deathstroke killing Aqualad. We saw with that vengeance by the Titans how far it certainly went, right? Really going down a dark path, and you see what it wind up doing to somebody like a Dick Grayson. So maybe in this regards, Dawn felt to herself, because she is too close to the situation that she finds herself in, maybe it is a case of, I need to kind of distance myself as much as possible. But based off of how much Gotham is burning right now, thanks to Red Hood and everything that he certainly has done, it did surprise me a little bit that Dawn didn't want to go ahead and stick around and try and see this through the end, despite the emotional trauma that she certainly has gone through. But listen, I'm sure Dawn knows herself better than I do, and the only reason I can think of her wanting to leave is she maybe found herself going down a very dark path that she certainly did not want to repeat, or even try to avoid type of thing. So makes sense that she wind up leaving, even though I am still a little bit surprised by it. But if anything, I do appreciate just the word of advice, if you will, that Dawn winds up giving to Connor Kent in here, who's clearly upset about the idea that he failed Hank. I mean, because we talked about it previously in last week's episode. Had Dawn not pulled that trigger and activated the bomb, I'm 100% certain that Connor Kent, aka Superboy, would have made it in time to go ahead and save Hank. So the fact that he's blaming himself in here, I kind of went into this episode expecting him to. But if anything, I'm thrilled that it's Dawn, of all people, at least letting him know, like, look, man, this is not on you. You did absolutely everything that you could. The problem falls on me, right? Like my decision is really what got us here at the end of the day. So I'm hoping, if anything, maybe this will allow Connor Kent to have some clarity in mind, not to like, beat himself up so much in regards to what happened with him, because he's clearly still dealing with that insecurity of having a little bit of Superman in him and a little bit of Lex Luthor in him, right? What side can he trust? What side is coming through for him, type of thing. I'm sure that definitely has to mess with Connor Kent's thoughts a little bit. And I really do hope that we get a focus episode on Connor Kent here again this season, because I absolutely loved his episode in season 2. So we'll see what happens in here. But we clearly see Connor definitely struggling in here. If anything, but we'll see what happens as the season progresses. I don't know what we're going to be getting in next week, or if we're going to be getting any new characters introduced next week or not. I know we still have Roy Harper to certainly tackle. I know we also have Rachel, along with the Donna Troy storyline that we haven't even dabbled in as of yet. The only thing that we know when it comes to Rachel is that she's wherever Donna Troy is, trying to certainly go ahead and bring her back to life. So I'm liking the pacing so far of this season. I've been rather impressed. I haven't felt like they're trying to cram too much. They haven't been trying to cram too much at me at once. The fact that we had our first 3 episodes be very Red Hood focused, foot on the gas sort of thing, and now kind of taking our foot off a little bit, letting the story kind of ride, changing direction a little bit, and giving us a very focused Starfire story. I've been very pleased with the pacing here so far, and I'm really hoping that it keeps towards this trajectory for the remainder of this season. But guys, listen, at the end of the day, these are just my A+ opinions, but excuse me, but I definitely want to go ahead and know yours. So let your thoughts be known in the live chat or the comment section box below after this video airs. And if there's any character moments, any storyline details or plots that I've certainly might have missed that you guys want to further explore and discuss with me, again, leave your thoughts in the comment section box below, and I'll certainly join you guys there until next week. But other than that, guys, I think that's going to do it for us here. So thank you very much for joining us. Until next week, do me a big favor, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and as always, keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. If you enjoy our content and want to be a part of helping our channel grow, become a patron supporter. We have affordable tiers to choose from that offer a variety of exclusive and early access content, from audio files for all of our shows for you to enjoy on the road, access to our Discord community, and plenty of reactions, reviews, character breakdowns, and more. Check us out at patreon.com/A+opinions. And as always, remember, like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so anytime we drop a brand new video, you will be notified.